So let's start removing that layer right there. And we'll do that by starting up. Let's zoom to the packages right here and look at what we already have. I want to get rid of this guy. Let's not do it just yet. We will remove him soon. I want to start out by adding the data access layer entity package right here, a folder. So I'll call that entities like this. That'll be the folder name. I'll just drag and drop the customer from here to here and drop him in here, right? Now, there's a few things you have to know when you start dragging and dropping files around. First thing is, notice it's still down here. So I didn't actually move it, I just copied it. Second, you need to make sure that it actually moved it for real. So I'll right click the actual folder and I'll go open folder in File Explorer and I'll actually see the file directly under the actual package here. So it did move it, so we have a copy now available. We want to keep that name as customer, so this is perfect. We're not going to do anything else. Now the next thing I want to do is open the actual file because I want to show you guys something. It's actually didn't rename the namespace. If you have ReSharper, it might have done that for you. But if you are cheap ass like me and you didn't buy that, you have to do this manually. So let's have a look here. What do we actually need to do to put in the right namespace? We just have to put in the name of the actual project first, customer app data access layer, customer app like this, data access layer. We'll do a dot and then we'll select the name entities like this. That's the folder right here. So that's all we had to do. Now we actually put in the namespace on our own. Now we have the name of the project and the name of the folder inside the project. So that's now where the customer resides. So now we can start adding crazy annotations on this guy and it won't affect anybody else. Awesome. Let's move one layer up because we also talked about the business logic layer needing some kind of objects to work with, and we're going to call those BO, business objects. I talked about DO, domain objects, but I thought it's a business logic layer. Let's call it business objects. Then you kind of have a relation there with the same naming. So we'll add a new folder here and we'll just call it BO for business objects. We could also call it business objects actually because business objects, because then it's easier for new guys to see what this is all about. There we go, business objects. In here we're going to also just grab this guy and paste him inside this one. So now we have the customer available and I'll rename this guy right away to actually call him a business object in the end. So I'll rename this guy to call him customer and BO for business object. Like this, just so there's no confusion if we actually have a business object or a customer entity. I don't want that confusion. Now why did I not name this guy customer E for entity? Because it's very easy with the name here will be reflected directly as tables in the database. So we just keep the real names that we want the database to be called. That's why I kept the name down there. Oh, this video is starting to get large, so let's just get this done. So here we have again the same problem. Right now it's pointing at customer entity. Again, make sure you double click. You want this should be the right class, right? So make sure you double click and make sure that's the right class you're working with. So here we'll say customer app business logic layer dot and then business objects. That was a lot. There we go. So now if I spelled it right, business objects, I think it is, or else I'll fix it in the next lesson. So there we go. Now we have the customer business object and we have the customer entity down here, and they're even put in the right packages. They are moved in the right folders. So let's just next lesson delete the customer app entity package right there. Have fun.